Good morning, everyone. I suppose you may be wondering why I'm wearing these, and the answer is because I'm cool. Well, I am cool, but also I have a little bit of a accidental shiner, which I'm trying to conceal. So which do you think is better, to show my shiner? It is? It's more humble. Yes, okay, that's what I'll do. What do you think, Amos? Yes? Glasses or no glasses? No opinion. Okay. Oh, Lowell, have you got the sound on?
Sound's on, yeah. Tap your microphone, whatever it is.
It's your switch? It's a telephone switch. Yeah? Well, let's see if it works. You can keep trying because the system is good, and I think the hearing aid is good. So hopefully. Okay, let's everybody just pause now for a moment. Have a look at that radiation coming through the windows. That's something we haven't seen much of. That's something that's been gone both literally and metaphorically for months and months now, because we are hovering literally on the edge of spring. Sometime tomorrow, day and night will be the same length. It's the vernal equinox. We can look forward to a time of gradual, if hardly perceptible, improvement until once again we can walk out into nature and feel welcome. Our shoulders are still braced against the winter that's past us now. And our hearts still feel the impatient waiting of winter, but this day reminds us of the life before us, of the things that we want to do, the things we should do, and those things we have too long avoided doing. So may the bursting life around us inspire a new sense of life within us. As we share in the coming bounty of a warming world, let's rejoice in the promise now fulfilled. And in honor of that fact, let us add our own small light to the brightness now surrounding us. I'm pleased to report that Yusuf Islam is now recording again as Cat Stevens, and this is one of his great songs, number 280 in the Green Book. Morning has broken.
So
Welcome, come in. We Unitarians tend not to be very superstitious, and that's a good thing. But sometimes it's a way of missing out. Sometimes when you can find little things to believe in that don't seem rational, it makes life sweeter somehow, fills it out. And I found this little reading by a woman minister named Elia Kemmler in the Unitarian Universalist Association website. And I thought about it several times before I decided to read it to you, but I don't want to read it today. It's called Love Does Not Disappear. In the 18 years I've served as minister of my small town congregation, I have led 96 memorial services, most for people I have loved. I didn't realize how much the deaths would hurt. The longer I stay, the deeper I love and the more I grieve. This seems so obvious, but I was surprised by it. Another surprise has been how our beloved dead seem to make themselves known, how they seem to linger with us for just a little while. Once, after a memorial service, everyone left the church and gathered on the sidewalk in the sunlight of a still summer afternoon. As we stood there, a huge gust of wind blew down the street. We could see it coming, almost like a tumbleweed. For maybe 5 seconds, the wind was all around us and over us. We turned and watched the gust blow down the street, and then it was completely still again. "There she goes," someone said. Another time, I was about to lead the memorial service for a man who shared a love of butterflies with his wife. Their home was filled with images of butterflies, and we had put a photo of one on the program. As I stood at the church door, a huge orange and black butterfly flew near. It circled me 3 times above my head, around my shoulders, at my knees, and then flew away. When I told his wife about it, she nodded. "Butterflies have been all around me since he died," she said. And last spring, a beloved elder died who believed he would be reincarnated as a red-tailed hawk. I told the congregation about his death at Sunday morning services. I had taped a picture of a red-tailed hawk on the front pew where he always sat. Several people told me that as I was making the announcement, they were looking out the sanctuary windows and saw a large hawk soaring above the church. Over the years, I've heard many stories about dragonflies and rainbows and love songs coming on the radio at just the right moment. Maybe it is just coincidence. Maybe we're looking for signs, so we find them. But maybe those we love are nearer to us than we realize. Maybe love is vaster than the limits of our understanding. I believe that it is. This has been a season in this church of loss of a lot of people that we have loved for a long time. And we're just now beginning to come to terms with that, I think, as we come out of lockdown once and for all. And rather than necessarily be bent against the chill wind and have our teeth gritted and just get by on the endurance that we have for suffering, maybe this is a time when we can open out a bit, relax a bit, trust a bit more. Would you sing us a song, Lowell? Yeah.
I'll do my best.
Yeah.
My hands are really cold this morning. Wings.
Thank you very much. Excuse me. Ooh, I'll have to get some new strings. That's what you get for loving me. That's what you get for loving me. Everything you had is gone, as you can see. And that's what you get. That's what you get for loving me. I ain't the kind to hang around with any new love that I have found. Since moving is my stock in trade, I am moving on, and I will not think of you when I am gone. So don't you shed a tear for me. I ain't that love that you thought I would be. I got 100 more like you, so don't be blue, 'cause I will have 1,000 before I'm through. Now there you go, crying again. Now there you go, you're crying again. One day, when your poor heart is on the mend, well, I just might pass this way. Yes, I just might pass this way again. That's what you get for loving me. That's what you get for loving me. Everything you had has gone, and now you can see. Yes, that's what you get. That is what you get by loving me. Remember me.
Thank you. Now, let's relax. Let's really relax and really enjoy this moment. Outside, we may feel the world becoming a place more welcoming. as the chill of winter subsides and the light daily grows longer. And so let us allow that same spark of new life to rise inside us. Let its warmth permeate this gathering. Let its light cast illumination into the closed corners of our minds. Let gratitude for the renewed promise of springtime fill us as we now turn inward toward that life-giving core of ourselves in the good silence. One Spirit, known as Holy, you who we hardly know and yet are always as near as our own breath. Turn our thoughts now toward that which we need to learn and to grow. Turn our hands toward that which we still need to do. And turn our hearts toward that one direction that brings its divine charge of meaning, love for each other, love for the wide, weary world, and love for its very source, love for you. So be it. Inshallah. Shalom. Amen. Let's sing this wonderful and unusual little hymn, number 43 in the Green Book. And it's called in here Universal Spirit. It was, the words are written by our friend Richard Bokey, and it's been adapted from something in the Czech by our great hero Norbert Čapek, who we celebrate every year with our flower communion. Universal Spirit. Since we're going on about butterflies and hawks and things like that, why don't we just go right to the heart of this whole business and talk about something that much more unbelievable. Let's talk about angels. What do you think? Just a quick poll, do angels exist? I'm asking a room full of Unitarians here. Yeah, we got a few. Sort of, we got some these and heavy in the back, and we're not completely sure. Yeah. And of course, angels are right out of fashion right now. It's true that occasionally they make a comeback in films and pop songs and so on, but they seem to have no more reality than werewolves. In fact, I would guess right now werewolves are doing rather better than angels, on telly anyway. Now they seem to occupy a place of indifferent exile alongside fairies and leprechauns and the old Greek gods. But there have been recently some new prospectors scratching around in these abandoned mines of meaning. Angels may not be the winged beings that carry away the saintly or who fire arrows into the hearts of lovers, but they may have an unexpected persistence about them. Maybe something about them that we can't quite shake. Well, my dictionary gives two definitions of an angel in addition to the obvious one of the winged harp player. One is an attendant spirit or guardian, and the other is a messenger or harbinger. The first suggests a lovely spirit that's said to watch over drunks, idiots, and babies, the guardian angel of fantasy fiction, the one that people from time to time report having saved them from some awful situation. And the second is that creature perched on the foot of the deathbed, or beside Mary's bed, telling her that she's to give birth to the Messiah. That's the messenger. Now, we may be able to dispose of these creatures with the cool light of our hard-won cynicism, but in this case, as in so many others, we have to ask the question, are we throwing out something important? Are we throwing out the baby along with the bathwater? Or are we consigning something to the archives of childhood that actually more properly belongs to the present? Well, of course, virtually nobody believes anymore these are real beings. Angels are real beings that have got houses and cars and live up in the sky somewhere, maybe above Mount Olympus or somewhere. But the very fact that these figures are universal, and they are completely universal, Carl Jung discovered that in every single culture he was able to visit or to study, angels persisted. They were there. So at least they have this figurative existence. And no wonder that these very angels became gods to the ancients. In his book, The Soul's Code, James Hillman, read it if you get a chance, although it's getting a bit dated now. James Hillman advances a theory of human personality that builds on the theory of Jung's archetypes. What concerns him is the ancient questions of who a human identity, like, who am I? Why am I like I am? What does that all mean? And he jumps into an argument about human nature that's dominated the physical and social sciences forever. Nature versus nurture. Genes versus environment. One side insists we're mostly controlled by genes, not just eye color and so on, but also in personality. And the advocates of this theory predict that in time, biochemical geneticists will find genes to explain absolutely everything there is to know about you. Not only that, they'll be able to produce on demand a designer baby that has all of the characteristics that you wish it to have. That's the ultimate upshot of gene science. But then there's nature's fans who say you can't tell from a blood test who'll be a criminal and who's going to be a humanitarian. So if you're just naturally gifted in a certain way, it may be partly genetic, or it may be that you've been taught that. I tend to lean towards the environment thing. I have known people who had every right to be a certain way because of their background who were not that way. And I'm sure you have as well. The great composer and musician Yehudi Menuhin, you know him, his name? He was born knowing what he had to do. Now this is something Hillman says about the angel. Hillman says we've all got something called an angel or a daemon, a D-A-E-M-O-N, same thing. That is both us and not us, that hovers around us, that tells us what we need to know about ourselves. So Yehudi Menuhin, at the age of 3, asked his parents for a violin. And what he got was a little plastic thing with metal strings, which he destroyed in anger because something in him knew that he was destined to play the violin, which of course he has. And there are lots of stories just like that. And in a minor version, each one of us has a similar story. Through them all runs a single theme. We're all born, according to Hillman, with certain purposes in place. You might say certain tasks that we have to accomplish. They represent the basis of who we actually are. That is, we all have an angel whose job it is to keep us on track with our soul's work in the world. It may be difficult to conceive of that, this guiding spirit in the rough and tumble of life in places like Croydon. It's hard enough just to pay the rent without indulging in fantasies of soul quests. And besides, aren't we just ordinary people? We're not artists. We're not necessarily, or we're not saints or violinists. Some of us might be artists, and some of us might be guitar pickers, but basically we're just ordinary people. So what meaning could that possibly have for us as angel business? Well, James Hillman would say, well, then not all angels are calling on us to found new religious orders. They're not all saying, hey, come on and play in the Albert Hall. Most angels are ordinary, like we're ordinary. They have ordinary things in store for us. Sometimes, often in fact, these buried goals are not profitable at all. They're not sensible. They might, if they were listened to, lead us away from financial success or social approval or even good health. One might feel that being a minister was right, while the angel insists on that person becoming a bartender. The state insurance man like Wallace Stevens might incredibly become a poet. But the world is full of stories of people who made enormous shifts in their lives, and whether or not they became rich and admired and successful in worldly terms, what they became was happy. They became fulfilled. Because it is happiness above all which is at stake. And no, I don't mean fun or pleasure. I don't even mean comfort, because none of that is material to the angel. Happiness is something else, something that comes from being in step with one's true design and living that design as fully as possible. Happiness can include sorrow, pain, loneliness, and isolation. In fact, it eats these things for breakfast because happiness is about meaning. That thing in the name of which wars have been fought, fortunes squandered, lives ruined. And as hard as its appearance might be for us, to live without a chance of meaning is not to live at all. So this angel is serious about his or her work. If you stray too far from the basic pattern of your soul's life, and who doesn't from time to time, you'll probably get sick. You'll probably actually get sick. Most psychological illnesses and depressions are probably about lack of meaning. The practitioners of existential analysis know this all too well. According to one of their founders, we've talked about him before, Viktor Frankl, it's possible to be happy anywhere, including, as he was, or so he says, in a Nazi concentration camp. Not comfortable, not full of pleasure, not without fear and pain, but happy in the sense we're talking about matching up with that sense of purpose and meaning that made you take birth in the first place. And that, according to Hillman, is the work of his angel who kept him to his task until he himself became a great healer. Well, we may not have to nearly starve and nearly be worked to death to serve our angels, but Victor did. Because I'll tell you what, the angel doesn't mess around. And our angel comes without a user's manual. He or she or it is not a pet bird in a cage, but does require some tending. And how does one tend one's angel? Well, digging around and thinking about it for years now, I got some suggestions. Take them or leave them. Listen to your angel. When you're depressed or ill without any particular apparent cause, your angel is probably trying to speak to you. Hillman hints at the direction of our pathologizing. He means the stuff that makes us crazy and sick and neurotic and all that. It's the same direction as our growth. Our symptoms often inform us. I once had a problem with my hip joint. I suppose that's not unfamiliar to people here. It was getting bad and worse, and I was thinking, oh God, one day I'm going to have a hip operation. And it just so happened that at the same time, I was going through a tremendous sort of life decision, and I came upon that biblical stuff where Jacob had to wrestle with an angel. I don't know if any of you remember this from the Old Testament. And the angel saying, let me go. And Jacob is like wrestling and dragging him around. And Jacob says, I will not release you until you bless me. And he broke Jacob's hip bone. And forever after that, Jacob limped and remembered his blessing from the angel. So I thought about that. And I said, maybe I'm getting blessed here a little bit or something. I can't explain that, and I can't prove it. It's too personal, but I can say it made all the difference. So listen to your angel when you get a chance. Listen to your pain. We all do a lot of that. But also listen to your joy. Try to notice in those rare moments when the world seems a kind and beautiful place, however fleeting those moments are, what it is that's caused that experience. What it is that's actually made you feel that way. Is it because of a connection to some beautiful natural place, the soulful sound of some music, a glimpse of a half-forgotten face? Take your angel out with you. That wasn't a dog on that leash, that was an angel. Give him or her or it a chance to see the world and the infinite possibilities. If you suddenly find yourself swelling with joy in front of a shoe shop, maybe you want to dance. Or if the same thing happens to you when you get to a luggage shop, you want to travel. You want to explore. You want to look at the world. Try to figure out what it is. It's like that game of hot and cold. You know that game? You're looking for something. And people say you're getting warmer, or you're getting colder when you're moving away from it. That's what I suggest. And if you know something already about your soul's lost direction, turn towards it. Because it is like that parlor game, hot and cold. When you turn away from it, whether through cowardice or sloth or lack of attention, things get colder and you get lost and you get sick. Now here's one more thing I want to suggest. Bring your angel here on a Sunday, please. Bring your angel here. They can happily have a chat among themselves. Others would like to get to know it. It might help us help each other. Take away all that clutching need for sameness that holds us back all the time. One day you might organize a party for your angels. What do you think? An angel bash. We could serve angels food cake. In the meantime, be alert for that faint whisper of wing beats. Be aware that this room is not just 13 people. There are 13 angels in here too. There are 13 sets of needs, there are 13 sets of untapped spiritual awareness. Well, God bless you all. An angel that brought you here. Amen. Lovely. Yes, lovely. My angel told me to put my shades back on. There's something that we sort of would like to share with the congregation, but I want to let other people do it. I'm thinking David and Lowell. I'm talking about new possible use for the flat in the back.
We got a flat above the nursery, which was Steve Dick was living before. And
Would you mind using the mic so we can all?
Hi, every people. We've got the flat above the nursery, where Steve Dick was living before, and we were in the process. Is that better?
It's okay. This is the house mic.
So we were looking to do it up and possibly rent it back to the nursery, who've got it below. But talking to Art and Lol, we thought we'd put ourselves forward to put up some Ukrainian refugees in there. If everybody agrees, what we'll do, we'll get it sort of so that it's fit, and it looks like we should be able to get a family in there. So that's what we're planning to do. So I don't know if we need
Any
approval, but
suggestions, advice, help? I think Freddie's got some.
I've got a friend who's involved in getting housing things for the refugees, so I sent her a message to ask for her email, so that I can pass it on to you.
yeah, because I mean, it's a nice flat. It's fairly central if people want to. Obviously, there's the nursery and whatever, but if it's sort of mother and child or whatever, it's good. So we'd be more than happy to put it forward that it can be used for that. So I hope everybody approves.
Yeah,
Okay.
good. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. The flat it needs a bit of work. It's going to take a few weeks, but it might take a few weeks to get matched up with a refugee anyway. I mean, it looks like it does, really. So, and the other thing to remember is that whoever it is that goes there is not just, we don't just say, here's the key. They're in trauma. They're in a foreign country. They may not speak the same language. They may be from a Greek Orthodox or Roman Catholic background and feel funny about being involved in a church, so we have to make sure that they feel completely comfortable about that. But we have time to talk about that later on, but it's a very big moment. Right, we had, we've already talked about the LAPD event that was here. And so we've received, I've got some tape to download, some video to download of the Rainbows singing. I've got some, is that better? Yeah, I've got some video to download. Joseph filmed it for us. And I don't know how we'll show it, but we can put bits of it up online, I suppose. And you took a lot of pictures and stuff, didn't you? Some of that'll appear in the newsletter, I guess. Yeah, it was quite an event. Anybody who missed it, don't miss it again, I can tell you. You agree, don't you, Jill? Absolutely brilliant. We're not passing the sock yet, although we could start pretty soon. Couldn't we? Hey, why don't we start? Let's pass the sock around. Who wants to do that? Mark, that's your job. I think we can get by with one sock. It's our offering for the work of the church. It's not required. It's only suggested. Didn't realize you're going to have to pay, did you? Thanks, everybody. Wonderful. Let's sing now. Another peace song, thinking about Ukraine as much as we can. For the Healing of the Nations, number 198 in the Green Book. to a life of love in action. Let's rise and pledge our word. Help us rise and pledge our word. Put into freedom from despair your word release, that redeem from war and hatred, and go in peace. Show us your true care and goodness, and hope increase. And hope increase. All that kills above the living, from the earthly part, pride of state is raised or stolen, Our candle we now extinguish, but the flame of this community, flickering though it has been, shines on. The words we have spoken have now faded. The song's notes are still, but our hearts remain open now as we turn to depart. So may we go safely and cheerfully and absolutely full of springtime optimism. For this, may we look after one another, because we know we can, until we meet again. Amen. They sang that and sang it and sang it at the LAPD.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, they could have studied all that more. Yeah. Yeah, they sing, yeah.
Joe, you could go and play that all day.